This week's Parasha, Hayye Sara, deals with the story of Abraham instructing Eliezer to find a wife for his son Isaac. One question that I've always asked myself is, why does the Torah repeat the events of how Eliezer finds Rebekah a second time? Not only that, but even with full details. We know the Torah can be brief. For example, when Rebekah retells a story to her mother, it says, "Vataged lebet ima kedvarim ha'ele." She tells her mother's household these things, kept very general. My name is Daniel Tichbi, and I would like to present you an answer from Emmanuel Shalev and David Black from Aleph Beta that I personally find very persuasive. I will be quoting verses from chapter 24 in the Parasha, so if you prefer to follow with the text, pause the video, grab quickly a chumash, and then continue watching. So the first step to understanding the potential purpose of the retelling of the story is to grab an understanding of the differences and values between Abraham and Lavan. Lavan doesn't really value chesed, kindness, as Avraham and Eliezer do. And Eliezer realized this, and he quickly needed to change the story. No point in extolling on the virtues of kindness. He needs to speak Lavan's language, so he makes a few differences in the story in order to persuade him to give his sister Rivka as a wife to Isaac. If you look at the verses 29 to 32, you will see that Lavan does not display any real hospitality. It says Ha'ish, the man, who does everything. Vayavo Ha'ish habayta, the man came to the house. Vayiftach hagmalim, he unties the camels. Vayiten tevin umisbol hagmalim, and he gives the camels straw. Umayim lechotz raglav, and washes their feet. Ve'reglai ha'anashim asher ito, and the feet of the men who were with him. In the context of the preceding verses, Ha'ish is definitely referring to Eliezer and not to Lavan. So it's Eliezer himself who has to care about all his people and his gmalim. Now, if you compare the two versions of the story, the one at the very beginning of the Eliezer's journey, verses 1 to 26, and you compare it with the story that he retells Lavan later on, 34 to 49, you will see that these stories are not identical at all. There are crucial differences, and I would like to flag to you two of them. Number one, Pasuk 12 versus Pasuk 42. On Eliezer's journey, he prays to God, and he wants to do God kindness to him, to help him find Isaac, his wife. Hakrena lefanai hayom, God be with me today, ve'aseh chesed im Adoni Avraham, and will do kindness to my master Abraham. But when he tells this to Lavan, his prayer is very different. He turns to God and says, Im yesh chana matzlich darki asher anochi holech aleha. If God will make me successful, no more mentioning of kindness whatsoever. Similarly, when Eliezer thanks God later on in Pasuk 26 versus Pasuk 48, he omits the word kindness again. Second example, Pasuk 1 versus Pasuk 35. Before Abraham commands Eliezer, the Pasuk says, Vashem berach et Avraham bakol. God blessed Abraham with everything. But when Eliezer retells the story to Lavan, he explains what everything he actually means. He goes into detail. He says, God gave Abraham sheep, cattle, silver, gold, servants, camels, donkeys. And not only that, and he continues and says, when Sara eventually had her child, Isaac, who Rebekah is of course going to marry, Abraham gave all his wealth and belongings to Isaac. Now in a nutshell, Eliezer realizes that Rebekah's family doesn't really care about kindness. They care about Rebekah going to marry someone wealthy. And that's how Eliezer presents the story to them. To conclude, what we can observe is immense wisdom that Eliezer is displaying. He shows flexibility, awareness, and understanding of how people tick in order to persuade Laban to let Rebekah get him married to Isaac. Rebekah, who truly shares Abraham's values of kindness. But maybe more importantly, we have got another example here that shows that nothing in the Torah is superfluous. Every sentence, every word, even every letter has got a meaning and a message to us. It's just for us to read carefully, research, understand, and share our discoveries with each other. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.